Today we want to share with you a shortened version of the testimony we share regularly at Reengage. This is God's redemptive story in our marriage. One evening, decades ago for me, I was led to Christ by a visiting missionary to the Bahamas. I remember vividly the moment when my sinfulness and lostness became so clear to me that I cried out and asked Jesus to come into my heart and be my Savior. I was never quite the same again.
For me, accepting Christ in my heart meant that I had secured my place in heaven, and all I needed to do was follow the rules of Christianity. I attended church more often, went to Bible study, because in my mind, these were the rules that were required. You see, I thought I was a good person already. I brought this way of thinking and expectations into our marriage.
The early years of our marriage was filled with getting to know one another and having kids. Sadly, for me, it became mostly about getting. I became an insatiable getter, and I was getting anything I put my mind toward. At the same time, resentment towards Judy was beginning to take root.
Years passed, and we became, in my opinion, a successful family. I really admired Ken's ethics and what he was able to achieve. I did my duty as a wife, a mother, and a teacher. We really looked the part. But beneath all of the success, I was a broken woman, driven by my critical thought and spirit. Things had to be done my way. My way was perfect.
Our marriage deteriorated. Our nominal faith did not equip us to resist the devil. I became the king of resentment. Angry and embittered, I saw Judy as the enemy. This fueled my sin, which led to infidelity in our marriage. We agreed to separate.
All that I had worked so hard to control was lost. I was no match for Satan. He had us both right where he wanted us. His ultimate goal was to destroy, and he was gaining ground. I realized I was helpless, and I needed a greater power. The moment of truth for me came when my counselor said, "Judy, God has always been with you. You just haven't yielded to him." For the first time, I realized that I had accepted Christ as my Savior, but I hadn't given him the control in my life. I was doing it myself, living the rules of Christianity with selfish motives and self-righteous pride. My family had become my idol. Self-preservation, a critical spirit, and a high sense of responsibility were my strategies of control. But the love of God was missing from my heart.
God was not done with us or me yet. While separated from Judy, God continued convicting me and making me uncomfortable. I had no peace. I was unfulfilled, but my heart was hard. Then something happened that began to change things. Judy's attitude towards me changed and was causing me to wonder if there may be a chance for us. There was a strange but undeniable peace in the house when I visited. I was drawn to it, fully aware that I was not at peace in my own heart.
During the separation, for the first time, I recognized my own spiritual condition. I was broken and needed Jesus to take control. I needed to trust him. I finally surrendered control to the Lord. It took denying myself, as it says in Matthew 16:24. It took letting everything go to find a life in Christ. It took total surrender. What that meant for me, here's the answer God gave me early one morning as I was kneeling and praying that changed my life forever. It's giving God the steering wheel in my life, his word, Holy Spirit, and the power And his power now was the driving force, Philippians 4:13. It is an awareness of his hand in the choices I make today and every day. It's getting rid of all distractions so I can have time with the Lord. It's allowing him to dwell richly in my mind and purify my thoughts. It's internalizing his word so I may put it into practice. It's trusting him for outcomes. Proverbs 3:5 became my life's verse. It's loving in unimaginable ways, like being kind to Ken, even though he had hurt me so deeply. It's forgiving, like Jesus Christ had forgiven me. And in doing so, set me free of the bitterness and resentment that controlled my heart. It's accepting love. It's giving him my negative, critical spirit and receiving in exchange the fruit of the Spirit, that of love, joy, peace, and kindness, long-suffering. It is not limiting God. It's the freedom to live fully each day in his presence, doing my duty out of love and service to him. It is surrendering selfishness for selflessness. It's allowing God to be sovereign, all for his honor and for his glory in my life.
Overnight, I found myself thinking of Judy in kinder, gentler terms. The more times I saw her, the more I saw the peace that she had, and the more I heard the voice of God speaking to my heart. His message was clear. I did not need a new marriage. I needed to let God make me a new man. That realization drove me to my knees, and I finally did what Mark 12:30 commands. I committed to Jesus all my heart, all my soul, all my mind, and all my strength. The next morning, I drove back to my God, my wife, my family, and my home. I immediately submitted to weekly accountability and discipleship with a veteran pastor, a Christian counselor, and 3 Christian brothers who hold me accountable even now on a weekly basis. I gave up years ago my getting ways. I love my wife, Judy. I love my kids, and I love my Lord. All the resentment and rage is gone. I am freed from the mastery of sin. I am surrendered to God who is at work in me to will and to do of his good purpose. Philippians 4:13. The events mentioned above happened almost 10 years ago. Today, God is using that experience to equip us in serving others. We celebrate God's amazing love and grace towards us. We keep a zero account when it comes to resentment and negative criticism. We start every morning with prayer and Bible study. It is miraculous what God has done. We want you to know God can do and is willing to do miraculous things in your life and marriage. Romans 8:28 is true. All things, every event, he will use for our good, his glory, and his purpose. Thank you.